My brothers and sisters, welcome to the channel Moment of Prayer. In today's video, we are going to talk about persistence in prayer. Stay with me and discover the power of persistence in prayer. Persistence and perseverance are exhortations that the Word of God calls us to maintain and cultivate in our Christian life. However, these exhortations are not made in a generic way, but very specifically when it comes to prayer. Jesus teaches us about the importance of persisting in prayer at various points in his ministry. In the next few minutes, we will reflect on what he said to us about this. In Luke 18, verse 1, Jesus presents an important parable about the need to always pray and never give up. The Word tells us that he told a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up. The word duty here in its original translation can also be understood as a necessity. This necessity must be clearly understood in the Christian life, for there is a responsibility for Christians to understand that they must always pray. Continuous prayers are essential, but more than that, Jesus is teaching us that we should pray about the same subject until the answer comes. The parable he tells is clear about this. Jesus is saying that prayer must be persistent, especially when we seek something important to us, until God answers. In verse 2 of Luke 18, Jesus begins to tell the parable of a judge who neither feared God nor respected men. In that city, there was also a widow who kept coming to him with a plea, "Grant me justice against my adversary." At first, the judge refused. However, after some time, he thought to himself, "Even though I don't fear God or care what people think, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice so that she won't eventually come and attack me." Luke 18 verses 4 to 5. This story is a very powerful illustration. For Jesus is using an unrighteous judge, someone who doesn't care about justice or the needs of others, to teach a great lesson. The judge granted the woman's request not out of a sense of morality or kindness, but because he was being bothered. He just wanted to get rid of the situation. However, this does not reflect God's character. Jesus introduces this parable to contrast it with the nature of God. The judge, with his selfish motivations, granted the woman's request because of her insistence. Jesus is telling us that if even an unrighteous judge can grant a request because of persistence, how much more will God, who is just and good, grant justice to those who cry out to him day and night. God is not an unfeeling judge, but a loving father who cares for his children. If a selfish judge granted justice, how much more will God, who loves us deeply, bring justice to those who persistently call on him? In verse 7, Jesus asks this question, "And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones, who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off?" Luke 18, verse 7. Here, Jesus is emphasizing that unlike the unrighteous judge, God is just and is always attentive to the prayers of his children. He exhorts us to pray persistently and with faith, for God never ignores our pleas. This verse shows us that even when it seems like God is delayed or distant at times, he is listening and responding according to his perfect will and timing. What we must do as God's children is to continue trusting, praying, and waiting. Persistence in prayer is not to change God's will, but to strengthen our faith and prepare us to receive his answer. Jesus also reminds us that God will bring about justice for his chosen ones, those who seek his face and trust in his justice. Even when we face difficult and unjust situations, we can be certain that God will not abandon us. He always acts on behalf of his children and will answer their prayers at the right time. In conclusion, Jesus challenges us with a powerful question. When the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? Luke 18 verse 8. This makes us reflect on the importance of keeping our faith firm, even when the answer to our prayers seems delayed. Persistence in prayer is directly linked to faith. Continuing to pray is a sign of trust in God, that we believe in His power and His ability to intervene in our lives. Often, our faith is tested by delay, but it is in this period of waiting that God strengthens our character and trust in Him. It is a process that teaches us to persevere and not give up. As we saw in the example of Daniel and the Prince of Persia, the battle in the spiritual realm often requires us to remain steadfast in prayer until the answer comes. Furthermore, persistence in prayer is also a way of honoring God. When we persist, we demonstrate that we trust in His faithfulness and believe in His perfect plans for our lives. And just as in the example of Zechariah, we know that God's timing is the best timing. Even when we don't understand the delay, God has something greater and better reserved for us. Therefore, do not be discouraged. Keep praying. Keep seeking God with persistence and faith. He will hear your prayers, and at the right time, He will respond in a way that will bring joy and peace to your heart. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment, and share. Thank you for watching the video. Stay with God and see you in the next video.